Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crux. I am honored to be joined today by the amazing Brian Portnoy, who I am really so just overwhelmed to call a friend. And every time I see him, I have so many questions and am always impressed by his openness and insight. Brian is the author of 3 books, at least.
Three.
I'm going to say at least, because there are others in your head that just haven't come out yet. PhD, CFA, tons of experience in the industry, hedge funds, running your own business now with Shaping Wealth. Thank you for joining me today. I want to know, what is the driver for what you do? I want to get to the core of why you are doing what you're doing now after so much experience in the industry.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to see you. We always have a nice time. So first of all, Shaping Wealth is a global coaching and content platform serving the global wealth management industry. And we train the guides on the journey toward funded contentment. We work with financial advisors. We coach the coaches in a variety of different ways. And, I got here through a completely non-linear path. I was on the investment side of the business for many years, and I just reached some point. It really felt like the end of the road or some cul-de-sac where I didn't feel like I was adding value to client portfolios. I didn't see a lot of others doing that either, and happened to be in a role at the time, this is 10 plus years ago, where I met a bunch of financial advisors, and I didn't really know that world at all. But it was immediately evident to me. And then I had 5 years of going around the US talking to thousands of advisors that these were people who cared deeply about their clients. They thought of them as friends and family. It was and is this virtuous mission of financial advice that the general public really doesn't appreciate or understand. And I guess, Evan, my thought was, well, how can I help? I was at the point in my career where I wasn't going to become a financial advisor per se. Too late in my career. I didn't want to really build a book of business, and kind of leaning into longer standing interests in teaching and writing and content creation. I thought, well, the industry is pivoting toward being very guidance or coaching oriented. Maybe I could create something that helped in that regard.
Okay, so you're taking your experience to add value to this world that you have been opened up to after a long and successful career. What exactly are you trying to solve? I mean, funded contentment, maybe talk a little bit about that. And then What are you trying to solve? Is it measurable? And how do you talk to people who are not necessarily very introspective?
Okay, those are 3 big distinct questions. So let me start off by laying the groundwork for funded contentment. So I wrote a book a number of years ago called The Geometry of Wealth. My first book, The Investor's Paradox, was about making better investment decisions. The second book was a much broader meditation on a life well lived and where money fits into it. And funded contentment, or true wealth, is the ability to underwrite a meaningful life, however you choose to define that, and however you choose or are even compelled to update that through life's inevitable but unpredictable changes. So this notion of funded contentment has landed very well with normal people, friends, neighbors, relatives. It's like, oh, I want that. And the thing about funded contentment is that it's not a number, and it's not a goal that you cross. It's not a game that you win. It's a mindset that you adopt. It's actually, in some sense, a more Eastern approach to wealth than traditional Western approaches where, hey, if I can retire with a $3 million portfolio and at a 4% withdrawal rate, I can have the following cash flow. Well, that's absolutely important, but I'm talking about something different, which actually makes it, to one of your other questions, hard to measure. So, the idea from Geometry of Wealth is funded contentment. The vision for my company, Shaping Wealth, is funded contentment for everyone. Because if you've got food on the table and a roof over your head, you're really in a position to be thinking more broadly about these issues. And so that leads to the mission of the company, which is that we train the guides on the journey toward funded contentment, that funded contentment can be learned and that it can be coached. There are many financial advisors who don't find this interesting. They want to be in the market. They want to be picking better funds or better stocks or assembling better portfolios. And my view is great, go for it. From a business point of view, if your value proposition at this moment is I build better portfolios than the next financial advisor, good luck convincing anybody of that. But still, people try. I think increasingly, and you look at generational change, you also look at just broader changes in the zeitgeist. Well-being is a legitimate issue for the financial advice community. And in order to help people live better lives and at least figure out the money pieces, parts to it, you have to have trust. You have to have connection. You need emotional intelligence to form that trust and to build those connections. And a lot of what we're doing, through our content and coaching is helping advisors create the framework for trust in which they can be experts and guides.
As always, insightful, interesting, and beautifully put. Thank you, Brian.
You bet. Thanks.
Take care.